My name is Nicole Laswell. I call myself the Inner Peace Broker. I also have a handle on Instagram, Parenting Autism Heaven on Earth. I have a parenting autism blog I wrote on my website, Nicole Laswell, 2ss2ls.com. I'll put all the information for you at the bottom of this video, where I have taken it upon myself to write the top 10 things I wish I would have known when my kids got diagnosed with autism. And these are just blogs I've written because I wish I would have known this. And it's just nice to have this information out there for others that could find it useful. So I decided, since I don't see a lot of people reading them, I figured, you know what, why don't I just video them as well? So this is a video on the 8th blog, which is about finding out what the local ISD, the Independent School District, is like for your special needs child, and how to work with those teachers once you're there. So I love starting the story with being in one of the ARD meetings. I'll explain in just a second what that is. And I was just so at peace with everyone there and everything that we've accomplished so far for each child that I just, said, I love ARD meetings. Those of you that have been through an ARD meeting, I know you're probably laughing or think I'm nuts, and that's okay too. But the speech therapist, the speech therapist in the group started laughing, and she goes, I love ARD meetings, said no parent ever. So what is the secret? Well, one, you do have to do your homework. So this is what we ended up doing. I started looking around throughout all of the Metroplex where we live and looked at all the school districts and just basically looked around blogs, parenting blogs, people with special needs, which one were the best. And of course, a lot of suburbs. So I went and found one that just felt right. We liked where it was located. It's pretty central in our Metroplex. And I started asking questions. I liked what it sounded like. So, what you do is you end up hoping for the best. You just, especially when you move to that district. And I'm going to say it wasn't cheap either, but has it been worth it? Absolutely. The thing is that once you get to the district, that's basically half the battle, right? You now have to meet all your teachers, and your child has to meet all their teachers. And so what's really neat about, at least in Texas, they have this thing called the ARD. It's called the Arrival, Review, and Dismissal meeting. And it's basically an annual meeting that has to take place for each child that has been diagnosed with a disorder and has qualified for special needs or special education. And the people that have to be there, these are federally mandated as well. So it's not even just in the state of Texas, everywhere in the United States. People with disabilities have a right to have access to the same type of schooling, or at least basically the same level playing field as their typically developing peers. So that means that my child has issues, he can't focus as well, so there are some things that we put in place for him so that he can be as close as possible to this free education that's being provided. It's not free, of course, we pay taxes, yes, I understand, but what I'm saying is that we all have access to that, regardless of where we come from, who we look like, etc., right? So that's the point. So all these federally mandated meetings require that basically everybody that's involved in the process of educating your child. So you have the general education teacher, you have the special education teacher, you have the diagnostician, the school psychologist, and then any of the administrators. So it can be the principal or the vice principal in the room, and of course parents. Now the parents, this is interesting, I found out, don't necessarily have to be there. They are offered these. This is when we would like to have the meeting. If it doesn't work, call us back, which is amazing that they do that. But if it doesn't work at all, they're gonna ask you if you want to, if it's okay if they have the meeting without you, and they will go through with it. I highly recommend you show up and do your homework so that you're aware of what's happening. because what's really neat in these meetings, you develop these goals in this thing called the IEP, or the Individualized Education Plan. So it's very specific and tailored to your child, but everybody gets on board with this plan. You as a parent, all the teachers, and everybody's gonna certify that they're gonna try their best to make sure that all these goals are hit along with your child, as long as your child can progress with them as well. So it's very much just a plan that we all hope we can get on board with and do it all for the child, right? So the child is really the number one. So this is where the other half comes in. You found your district. Now you have to work with the teachers. So it's really funny because I have a very different approach in terms of I have been a teacher for 15 years myself, and I know what it's like to be a parent for the last 10 years of a special needs child. So I'm pretty aware of what it takes to teach to a group of children. If you have a disruptor and what it feels like, how hard it is to make sure that everybody's getting what they need, you have different levels of ability, even with the neurotypically developing child. So it's unbelievable how each role is important. So the role of parent, we're there to support them, give them unconditional love, teach them how to be in the world at home. The teacher has to kind of do the same thing, and then they have to teach them something like math or reading in a group setting alongside with all their peers, and allow for that social interaction to help the child thrive. And then, of course, there's a third component, which is the child itself, him or herself. And it's funny how classrooms have their own little spirit, and each one will be different. And the teacher, if it's a really good teacher, just knows how to be creative and how to move around, and knows which kid will work really well with that kid. And then the kids have to really want to be able to work with each other. And you have to be creative because you have to find the motivation in each one of them. So in other words, it's not easy. And I remember meeting this last time, one of my favorite things is I try to tell parents, just as scared as we are, the parent, to make sure that we're doing right by our children, the teachers are the same way. So when I went to meet this latest group of teachers about a year ago, and I asked for just a meeting to meet the teachers because I wanted to introduce myself. I wanted to let them know I was the mom of my child and that I was there to be with them and to be a support for them as well. Well, one of them then confesses after I do my spiel of like, I am here to work with you, not to just dump my child in your lap. And it was really neat because one of them said, I must be honest, I was actually afraid stiff of having to meet you today. And I was like, well, why is that? She said, well, I was kind of, I guess, scarred from one of the last meetings that I had to attend where there were lawyers present in the room to make sure that this parent that had asked for specific goals for their child, that we were compliant. And that's basically like a PTSD, because remember, fear is something that's irrational and it's we can't explain it away, but it's there and it's operating. So guess what? That teacher was probably afraid while working with the child of that person that had brought in the lawyers. I'm not saying don't bring lawyers when it's necessary, because unfortunately you can be as kind and as open as you can, and sometimes some districts are just not ready for that, and they will push back and push back and push back. And you know what? Yes, you are your child's advocate. So you do have to go and advocate and find ways to get what your child needs. What I am saying is that what if there's another way of doing it that you can actually be open to working with them? Which brings me to my point right now. We're all in COVID. We have nowhere to go. We're all scared, of course, because we don't know what this is going to look like. So the alternatives is go in there blind, scared, yelling at people who are already blind, scared, and really don't know what to do and want the best for your child as well. And how can we do it for the best for everyone? So it's, again, this is where in the last video, know thyself, get a good psych. Find where you can Make sure you're in touch with yourself so that you can be at peace every time you talk to your teachers. And just be aware that it's a group effort. It really takes a lot of work to prepare children to be adults, responsible, loving, kind adults in the world. So just this is where I kind of challenge everybody. Check in with yourself. Where are you afraid? Where are you projecting this fear? Because let me tell you something. Fear, everybody can smell. We don't talk about it like that. It's like, oh, dogs can smell fear. We all can. We can all pick up fear. We can all pick up anxiety. We can all pick it. It's in us. It's how we communicate. That's what's really interesting about autism, right? It's a little harder for them to read the social and body cues. But you should be surprised how much they actually truly know by looking at by feeling people's energies. And that's why when you see a kid with autism get a little more hyped up and upset, look around and feel around the energy of the room, because there might be something there. Anyway, my point is, do your homework, find out about the local ISD, and then work with those teachers the best way you can. Be kind, be loving, be gentle, be open, but then also speak your truth, hold your own, ask questions. Some of the times I would ask questions, I'm like, look, treat me like I'm a 5-year-old. I don't understand what that word means. Vestibular input. Oh, it's when kids need to be on a swing and they need to go round and round and round. So it's the feeling of balance. So for them, they need that, and then they'll do the work that you're asking them to do. Thank you. Yes, I like that goal. Let's put it in there. So it's all about being clear of mind, clear of heart, and be willing to work with your people, because guess what? We're gonna have to work with each other, and we all want the best for our kids. They all really do. Maybe they're not showing it because they're afraid of something. Give them the benefit of the doubt and try again. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. If you want to read some more and want to read some of the really cool things I wrote on that specific blog, I'll put it down on the link as well. I wish you all the best. Sending love, light, and blessings to you all, and I'll catch you in the next video.